here we are in the woods of Evergreen with our good king, King Burky, and his faithful little pet, Badger, as they take a stroll along these wonderful parts of Babblot, looking at the wonderful trees and reminiscing about those wonderful games from those past eras, even maybe before these trees were planted. And they are going to be talking about these games like they still like to play. And this time, on this beautiful Sunday morning, they're going to be talking about games which came from the year 2012.
Hey, 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 hey. It is good to be back into the woods of Evergreen, strolling through the green, lush, musty leaves falling through the forest as we stroll through the days of yesteryear. 2012, the games that Burky and Badger have deemed to stand the test of time.
Yes, games that we still like playing that were released in that wonderful year. I mean, at this time of my life, I was with the Dice Tower. Seems eons ago. I don't know about you, but it seems like a long time ago. So, yeah, there were a lot of games coming out at the time and lots of good titles, interesting ideas and concepts. But which of these games...
I likewise, like you, Barry, I was just starting to get into what we call the greater board game, the hobby board game market, and seeing what was actually happening. And this particular year, 2012, I mean, when you go through this, we went through the Board Game Geek list of 2012 games, and because there's so many different ones on different pages, I was unable to get an accurate count, but it appears that there are well over 3,000 games that were published in 2012. And going through that list, it was like, oh my goodness, look at all these lists. But I had a lot of these games in my BGG collection where I had rated them.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool because then it would show up a little box. But before we get into that, I got one real quick little thing to say. I just want to say, happy Thanksgiving to all, or not Thanksgiving, yeah, happy Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and Father's Day. No, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. This is my wife got me this, and she got me a card that's to my husband on Valentine's Day. I won't read in what it says because it's like, you're my wonderful hunky hunk. And I am a hunk of hunk. I hunk of burning love. That's what I am. Yeah, thank you very much.
I can't wait to open that bar of chocolate tonight and melt it on your chest. And
well,
like that, no?
And then look this is what she gives me.
Chocolate.
No, I'm trying to lose weight, but I said, what are you trying to do? You trying to kill me? You know, but she goes, yeah, but anyway, these are my favorite thing in the whole world. Happy Valentine's, everybody, and I just want you to see these turtles, and I'm opening it right now because this is what you have to do on shows like this that are impromptu, and I'm going to eat it. It's so good. Oh,
well, we've been sharing the love here.
Hold it. I'm feeling something here. Hold it. I'm feeling something here. Okay. Well, happy Valentine's, everybody.
Yeah, we've been sharing the love here as well. We've been sharing the germ. Everybody's got flu.
Oh,
Yay.
no.
Yeah. So,
hey, Kabuki kids in the woods of Evergreen. Wow, cool.
Wow. You better not be trampling on those daffodils again.
Happy Valentine's Day, Kabuki. So we might as well just get into it. We're going to talk about the top 3 games of 2012, but I honestly can't wait until we get back to this year because I have way more than 3 games to talk about.
Yeah, I've got more than 3 games to talk about. Some of them I've only played like once, but they've made such an impression on me. You know, I wish that, you know, they were in my collection so I could play them again.
Right?
So, yeah.
This was a fantastic year. So, you want to start out with your third top one?
Okay, they're not in really any particular order. They're not, well...
I kind of rank mine, but it's okay.
Okay, I'll kind of rank them as well. Okay, I'm going to start with this game, which is a children's game, and it's about saving a princess. And it came out at Essen, and I just told my wife to pick it up because it was so great, so simple, so elegant. It's the Enchanted Tower, or the Tour Enchanted. It's a very simple kind of game where one player will play like the evil witch, and they would have locked the princess up in a tower, and they've hidden the key somewhere in the forest. And the other players, so this is, you could play like as a parent and against your children, they have to use their explorer to explore, try and find the key before the wizard finds the key himself, because they know where they put it, to rescue the princess. And so there's a bit of dice rolling, which determines which player moves first and then how many spaces. But it's a bluffing game, and you know where the movements that you make are bluff to the other player. You know, you're trying to guess. Like if you're the wizard player, you're trying to get to the key, but you're trying not to give away the position of the key to the other players, because they will then go there, and there's this magnet little in the bottom of your playing piece, and as it slides across the board, if the key is underneath the space, it will clink, and that's when you know that you've found the key. And just that element of the game is fun. And then once you've got the key, you need to figure out which lock will unlock the door to the princess. And it's a little kind of like pop-up pirate thing where you pop the key in and then the pirate pops up. But it's the same thing. So you've got 6 different spaces to put the key in, and one of them will be right. And so it's a game where it could end quite quickly, because you could, like in the first attempt, find the key and get it in the right hole. But sometimes it does go on a bit more, and it becomes interesting. It's good for young kids. I enjoy it as an adult. We played it a little while ago, actually. But although Robin was just like infatuated with the key in the pop-up bit.
Yeah, right. Who makes that?
Chemic do it, and Brain Games do it.
I hadn't heard of that one. Wow.
No? Okay. Yeah.
Well, I have a game that this is one of those games. I had so many and I was struggling with them. And then I went over to this one corner shelf that I have where I normally will run our podcast. I'll sit behind with our games and different things. And on this particular shelf are all my favorite games. And I have cupboard doors on the bottom of this corner shelf. And all 3 of these games were in that location. So when I was going through the list and then went to actually grab some of these games to show you, it tells you how much I love these games, because they were in my place of all my favorite games. And this particular game I just thought was so fantastic. It had a pirate theme.
Aha.
You know why pirate jokes are funny, don't you?
I think I've heard this one. No, but can you tell me?
Because they just are.
Oh, because they just.
How you say it, it's kind of, that's how the joke works. But
okay,
if you just go because they are, it just doesn't work. Yeah. Comedy. Acting! So, my game is Libertalia. Now, this game is made by Marabunta, but it's distributed by Asmodee. I love this game. I just absolutely love it. What I love about the game is everybody has basically the same deck of characters, and all of these characters are pirate-themed characters that give you different abilities, and they have different strengths, and their numbers are ranked, and you play these cards out in a boat. But you have two phases in this boat. One of the phases is the day phase, and then you have the night phase. So it has kind of this back and forth, and you're ranking, and whoever actually is going to win this particular battle, if you will, of playing back and forth with all the other players in the game is so cool. But then everybody has a couple cards that are slightly different, so you don't have perfect information. We played this game a lot when I first got it. We loved it. And then for some reason, we just quit playing it. And I look at it all the time. And honestly, I like, gosh, I don't remember if I know exactly all the rules now because it's been so long since I played it. But it has such great fond affection. I love the game Libertalia.
Yeah, I've played that. I enjoyed that.
It's quick. You can play the game in an hour. It's pretty easy to teach. And it's card driven. The graphics look great. You feel like you're playing a pirate game. Yeah,
you do indeed. Kabuki agrees with you that it is a good game, and Rick agrees with you that it is a good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rick. It's good to see you in the woods of Evergreen, hiding behind the trees. He's one of those guys that hides and he goes around the corner of the tree looking to see if you're there. I've played games with him. I know this.
All right.
All right, you're number 2.
Your number 2 will be after this short commercial.
This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
There it is.
Yeah, my number 2 is this big box of Egyptian madness called Chemit.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a combat area control game which forces players to, take control of areas and force them into combat due to the fact that there are not many spaces on the board, and each space is within about 2 or 3 spaces of other spaces. You're going to be building up your army. You're going to be building up your 3 different powers, your 3 different pyramid-style dices. You're going to be buying special powers which will make your units feel different from everybody else's. And you're going to be just knocking the poo out of everybody else and gaining points by gaining control of temples. It is very, very simple in rules explanations. The player turns go pretty quickly. Everything runs really smoothly. There is a little bit of downtime as players are like deciding what they really want, because you have this big selection of tiles, which, as I said, will give you the individual powers. And everything just works out really, really well in this game. It's nice to look at. It doesn't feel like a war game, but it is a war game, so to speak. Really enjoy it. I don't play it enough. I wish I could. I've played a 5-player game. I've played a 3-player game. I want to play some more, but it's a hard one to get to the table. It's language dependent, which is a bonus as well, because you don't need to read text on cards and bits and bobs. So big plus in my book.
Well, because you said this particular one, this was actually my number 1, and I'm going to jump ahead and show you my number 1 ahead of schedule, because I feel exactly the same way. This here is my number 1 game of 2012, and it's Chemit. Now, I'll add to what you just said. The thing about Chemit that, that I love is I love those little pyramids that you have that are tracking, and they have between a 1, a 2, and a 3. And you're getting these tiles that are almost like civilization tiles that are leveling up, what are almost like an engine building. If you're working hard on defenses, you're going to use that white pyramid, that is going to allow you to get some of those things to improve your defense when you're in combat. Or if you're on the red and you're doing the attacking, you might want to get that scarab monster that will give you more power. One additional thing that I really think is so cool is those obelisks where you can transport. Because the way the map is actually set up and the way the movement is so brilliantly designed, you have to think about a lot of things so you don't leave your back door open.
No. Everybody can walk in at your back door at any time. So it's not really a case of watching your back door. It's a case of just making sure that you're well defended, or you're taking a calculated risk, or you're setting bait up for someone else to grab so you can then take back. Well,
I know this is Rodney Smith's number one game of all time. From Watch It Played, yes.
Okay.
He a big proponent. He never tells people how he ranks games, but on this particular one, he's all in. I have a deluxe insert for it. I have special coins for it. I have or bits for it. I have painted miniatures. I also have the expansion called Talsetti. And the Talsetti expansion gives you additional troops, a little group of 4 dudes. It's a dudes on the map game, so it does have that area control, and you're trying to the first person to get, to 9 points, to be the winner. And I've had so many epic games of this. The ones that I recall the most and the most exciting were games with Sean and Raquel Ramirez from the Dukes of Dice Gaming Podcast, at the Dice Tower convention and at BGG Con, and the games that went back and forth and the negotiation of no, if you go over here, I'm going to go over here. No, okay, we'll go over here, and then somebody screws around with it, but it's got that take that, but it's everybody's doing it, so it's not like anything gets taken personal, Such a fantastic game. I can't believe how great that game is.
Yeah, and guess what? There is something new coming to Chemit soon.
Oh, really? This is made from Madigo.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll be seeing them at Cannes, and maybe we'll be seeing something, what they're going to be presenting later on.
Well, I'll be all in.
And Rodney will be pleased because he's going to be at Cannes as well. So, yay.
Wow. Well, let's our other sponsor, and then we'll go to our next 2 games.
Yeah, our other sponsor is Arcane Wonders, who just recently had a very successful Kickstarter called Foundations of Rome, which looks a little bit like this.
The city-building board game Foundations of Rome puts you in the role of an architect, competing to own land and build magnificent structures. Build doomises, fountains, foundries, and more to increase your renown, gain glory for yourself and the Empire. With 96 wonderfully detailed miniatures in the base game, Foundations of Rome is a testament to the glory of Rome that you can bring to the table.
You can indeed. And I luckily got my late pledge in. So, don't cough. Oh, flu is annoying. So, my number one pick from 2012, a game that always is easy to hit the table. I get it out quite a lot. Is from the same family as Timeline. It's called Cardline, and this version is Animals.
You brought that to our house and we played that, didn't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bring some small games.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I bring Timeline.
Oh, it was Timeline. You're right.
It was Timeline, yeah, because you were having trouble with the French words of things like the invention of the newspaper and the printing press. So what does Cardline do different from Timeline? Not really much. It is basically the same premise. You'll have some cards in front of you, and you have to get rid of them by placing them in the correct order to what is currently in the middle of the table. And obviously this line is going to get longer and longer, and the more and more spaces will disappear, so to speak. The other big difference with this version is there are 3 different statistics that you can play with. Each animal has a size, a weight, and a mean average age. So at the beginning of the game, you choose whether you're going to play with one of those 3, and then you start building a line. And obviously, if you're building a line of weight, you have like the lightest animals to the left and your heaviest animals to the right. And so you'll have these animals here. You'll have an animal in front of you, and you go, okay, is this sheep heavier than a giant panda or lighter than a giant panda? And then you either got to put it to the left or the right of the giant panda. And if it's right, after you've revealed it, as I said, same premise as Timeline, but it's more for kids. It comes with this varying level of skill, because size is quite easy to kind of calculate. Oh yeah, a wild boar is probably a bit smaller than a walrus. But then you've got the very hard, they're kind of like expert level, which is the ages, which I find is very hard. What's the mean average age of an elephant in comparison to a mean average age of an ostrich? Which one lives longer? There you go. There you can see. So you got a panda is about 5.4 feet.
I resemble a panda. I like pandas.
They're about 220 pounds, and their average age is about 28 years. So it's just a lovely card game with this beautiful art. You play it with kids, and you'll be surprised the kids can just like guess and put cards in the right place at the wrong time when you think you're going to win and they win. So it's a great little card game. I can't recommend this game enough. This is such a simple idea, but it's so fun. And that
looks fun. My granddaughter Elizabeth, she'd be making every sound
of all the animals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, my number 2, actually, which all of these, they're so good. We're watching the chat here and we're seeing, Kabuki Kid talking about Robinson Crusoe, War of the Rings, 2nd edition. I mean, some fantastic games, Lords of Waterdeep. I mean, we could go on and on about a lot of different games that I could have chosen as well. In fact, I think we could do this list probably 4 times, and I could get you 12 favorite games from 2012.
Yeah.
But the one that I really love, one of my favorite mechanisms in board games is worker placement.
Okay.
So worker placement games they just click for me for some reason. I'm able to understand the rule sets and all of those kind of things. And this particular one, I totally love the theme. I totally love maybe the extra level of complexity that it had, and yet it wasn't hard to understand. But it had difficulty levels. And the game that I'm referring to is from Pandasaurus Games, YATO. Okay. Now, the thing about YATO, and I don't know that you can see this very well here. Maybe Barry could pull up a Board Game Geek, but there's this beautiful game board, and you have so many different things that you can do. Everybody has their own player card that you can add different abilities. You can get different tiles. There's some set collection type of aspects to it. There's difficulty levels for these missions that you basically go on. And then there's money involved, and money is a little tight in this game, the koku, but there's always opportunities for you to go to a spot to get those. This, in my opinion, is probably one of the best worker placement games I've played. I just love it. And there's so many good ones out there. There's, Kabuki Kid says Manhattan Project, and that was in that same shelf that I was referring to, and I could have so easily said Manhattan Project. But YATO, we've had such epic games, 4-player games. The thing that I maybe caution you about is that it's a little long. I mean, these games were a good 3 hours when we played it for some reason. But we love it. My son Josiah loves it, and his best friend Trevor, and my good friend of mine Barry Seidel, his son is Trevor. So we would play this game together. I remember when we first purchased it at Gen Con, and then just played the mess out of it, and the great times that we had playing it. So YATO from Pandasaurus Games is really a fantastic one, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah, it's one I haven't played. I've seen it around. But, 3-hour worker placement game.
Well, there's a little bit of engine building that comes to it, too, and collecting of things and going on these missions. And, you play this over several rounds, and you're going to all these different places that you can do these different things. And it's just really a great game. Okay.
Well, there you go. There's 3 games each that we deem are like some of the best games that came out in 2012. I think most of them are still available to buy. I know Cardline is. I know Chemit will be. And what was the other game that I said? Oh, the Enchanted Tower, I think, is still available. I think I've seen that in stores around here in France. I'm not
sure if you can still get Libertalia or not.
Again, that's something that I've seen in stores in France, Libertalia. It's very, very strange. I haven't seen YATO around.
I think there was a remake of it, actually, if I remember, a deluxe edition or something. I didn't actually get it, but yeah, these are just fantastic games that stand the test of time. They're still on my shelf. I still adore them. And tell us about your favorite games of 2012. Badger may put up a BGG Guild little poll where you can say some of the games that you like from 2012. And anyway, this was just a fun little segment that we thought we'd try to do every other week on our Facebook Live and YouTube, just to continue to connect with all you folks. And it's just fun to actually just talk about board games, right?
Oh, it was, for a change, instead of talking about music and game toppers.
Yeah. Well, those are the things consuming our lives, and yet board gaming is why we do all this stuff. And we hope you enjoyed it, everyone. And with that, we're going to send you out of the woods of Evergreen, and have a great day in the kingdom of Babblot. Play some games.
Play some games, because we're not playing them.
Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Ciao.
Thank you again for listening to Burky and Badger's Board Game Babble. This show was written, produced, and performed by Kevin Burkhardt-Smyer and Barry Doublet, as was the music too, with a little help from the Balance of Power. And background effects were supplied by Sirenscape. Enhance your gaming at Sirenscape.com. Join us next time, where we might have a special guest, or we may review a game. But either way, there'll be more craziness and more babbling.
We're so glad we had this time together. Now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Burky and Badger will be back in no time.